Farming Space, the whole family travels through time to escape famine, Part 2. Not long after Xie Xiaomi left the cave with her Guzi, he brought her Guzi into the space. Sister, get me some coke to drink first. Go to the warehouse and get it yourself. After finishing speaking, Xie Xiaomi turned around and went to find Tuan Tuan. Tuan Tuan also sensed that Xie Xiaomi had entered the space, and quickly jumped out of his nest, calling, "Mother, mother." Tuan Tuan, slow down, mother is waiting for you here. Since having a daughter, Xie Xiaomi feels that it is still pleasing to the ear, and sometimes I miss her cute little milk voice when I don't see the little guy for a day. Mother, you finally came to see Tuan Tuan. The little guy rubbed back and forth in Xie Xiaomi's arms attached. How's Tuan Tuan's rest? Do you still feel tired? Mother, Tuan Tuan is not tired, and Tuan Tuan's waking hours are getting longer and longer. I don't think it will take a few days for Tuan Tuan to recover and be by mother's side all the time. Okay, don't rush, you recover slowly, mother will wait for you. Well, my mother is so kind. After appeasing Tuan Tuan, Xie Xiaomi filled several water bags with water, and then took some not-so-good-looking apples collected in the previous life, took her Guzi out of the space, and returned to the mountains. The two of them picked up a lot of firewood, and then they walked slowly towards the cave. Father and mother, I'm back. Guzi held a bundle of firewood in his hand and started yelling before entering the cave. Come back as soon as you come back, why are you shouting so loudly? Do you have to line up for us? Second Aunt Xie glanced at Guzi and said with disgust. Guzi, who is used to being disliked, doesn't care what his mother says, anyway, his mother has a knife mouth and a bean curd heart. Every time she says to kill his father, doesn't his father still live well? To sum it up, his mother loves to talk ironically. Sure enough, what was said on the internet in the previous life, women say no, but in fact they want it. It is a truth. Fortunately, Guzi didn't speak out his thoughts, otherwise, Second Aunt Xie would not have hacked Guzi to death, but hacked Guzi to death. Xie's mother was chatting with the woman. When she heard her daughter's voice coming back, she hurried forward to take what Xie Xiaomi was carrying. This, how come there are wild fruits? Oh, there are some in the deep mountains. We picked them back when we saw them. We haven't eaten wild fruits for a long time, so we just use them to satisfy our hunger. Girl, have you found water? Seeing that the water bag in Xie Xiaomi's hand was filled with water, the woman stood up abruptly and asked in a tone full of surprise. Well, but the current is small and it's in the mountains. I'll fill up your water bladders tomorrow morning. No, the girl told us where we are, we can go by ourselves, how dare you bother the girl to get us water? It's okay, just watch the child. The ferocious birds and beasts in the deep mountains haven't eaten food for a long time. They are extremely ferocious. If you go, you may not come back. At least I still have time to defend myself. Escape is not a problem. Then thank you, girl. If there is anything I need to do in the future, the girl just ask me directly. My men and I will definitely not refuse. Yes, I won't say nice words. You saved our family's life, and you are a great benefactor. In the future, we will go up the mountain of swords and go down into the sea of fire. As long as you say it, we will definitely do it. The man's simple and honest face was full of seriousness. Faced with such a simple way of repaying gratitude, Xie Xiaomi couldn't help but sigh. It really wasn't a waste of time to be a good person. Xie's family discussed it and decided to rest on the mountain for a few days. One is for the recovery of the two children, and the other is to avoid the group of people. In fact, it's not that Xie Xiaomi never thought of killing people with a knife, but there were so many people there at the time. If she really solved the follow-up problems, it would be very troublesome, and she couldn't solve all those people, so she had to cut off one arm of the leading man, and ran up the mountain with Second Aunt Xie. After getting along for the past 2 days, Xie Xiaomi knew that the woman's name was Lin Yang, her husband's family name was Qin, and her name was Dezhuang. The two children were named Qin Guden and Qin Chuanhua. For the brain hole of ancient people's naming, Xie Xiaomi has personally experienced it this time. There was food and drink on the mountain, and the two children recovered quickly, and they were alive and kicking in the morning of the third day. Father Xie looked at the two obediently squatting children playing there with kindness, and said with emotion, "It's still good at this age, carefree." Yeah, in their thinking, the biggest thing is probably whether they are full or not. Sitting next to Xie's mother, Xia's mother felt a lot of sorrow from his words. Okay, if you come, you will be safe. Our family is together, which is the most important thing. Don't worry, with me, you will have a good life. Xia Xiaomi is used to her parents throwing dog food from time to time, but Nyang Lin and her husband blushed at this straightforward way of expressing their feelings, and quickly turned their heads away. Uncle Qin, are you familiar with the towns around here? Familiar. I used to be a peddler who sold goods in the streets and alleys. I have been to several towns here. Qin Dazhuang was called uncle by Xia Xiaomi, and he was a little embarrassed. The answer was straightforward. Then, does Uncle Qin know the disaster situation in the surrounding towns? I heard from everyone that these towns under the jurisdiction of Fenghe Mansion have been severely affected by the disaster. I don't know if I leave Fenghe Mansion. If we go south, do we have to pass Fenghe Mansion? Yes, whether you take the official road or the small road, you have to pass through Fenghe Mansion in the end. Although Fenghe Mansion was severely damaged, it is a prefectural city after all, and there must still be people there. Then, I will ask Uncle Qin to lead the way. Okay, no problem. When Xia Xiaomi heard what Qin Dazhuang said, she already had a plan in mind. It is impossible for them not to go to the city forever. Although there is nothing missing in her space, but now with Qin Dazhuang and Lin Yang's family of 4, many things are missing. The method was taken out above board, and as the month got closer and closer to September, it was still a little cold here at night, and their family didn't have any thick clothes, so they had to find a town to buy some personal clothes. In the early morning of the 4th day, the Xia family and the Qin family packed up their belongings, erased the traces of life in the cave, and went straight down the mountain from the path on the other side. At the foot of the mountain, Xia Xiaomi looked around vigilantly, and found that no one was guarding here, so he followed everyone along the path to the south with peace of mind. In this way, he hurried on the road in the morning, found a place to rest at night, hurriedly walked for 5 days, and finally arrived at the ruined temple outside the city gate of Fenghe Prefecture. There are quite a few refugees gathered here, dressed in rags, the straw sandals on their feet are worn out, their lips are pale and chapped, and their eyes are staring blankly at the direction of the city gate. Why are they all gathered here? Father Xia looked suspiciously at Xia Xiaomi who was standing there handsomely. I don't know, why don't you ask? Qin Dazhuang came from another direction at this time, walked straight to Xia's father, and said in a low voice, I just inquired about it, and I need money to enter the city. Silver. Yes, 500 won per person. 500 coins. Father Xia's face was covered, he really didn't understand the silver conversion in this era, and he didn't know whether the 500 coins were more or less. And Xia Xiaomi knows some approximate conversion methods because he has been in contact with it in his previous life. In ancient times, 1 tael of silver equals 10 coins equals 1,000 won. 1 money equals 100 won. That is to say, the cost of entering the city needs half a tael of silver. There are 6 members of the Xia family, plus 4 members of the Qin family, there are 10 people in total, which is 5 taels of silver. It's not like she can't afford it. However, there are some things that cannot be done with the people of the Qin family. It seems that there is another way to do it. Father, there are too many people in this ruined temple, and it might be dangerous. Let's go to another place to rest. If you can't stay here, you can only go up the mountain. There is a natural cave on this mountain. When I came to Fuqing, I found it by accident. It can accommodate us. Okay, then listen to Uncle Qin, let's go up the mountain. Several people drove a few more miles to the cave on the mountain. When we arrived at the place, Xia Xiaomi went in to check it first, and found that there was no danger, so he came out and called the people in, and after they settled down, he said, I'll go into the city to see the situation, you wait for me here. I can't, this city might be very dangerous, if you go in with a baby girl, I'm afraid it will happen. Qin Dazhuang anxiously stopped Xia Xiaomi, and kept waving his hands. It's okay, Uncle Qin, I'm not bad at all. It shouldn't be difficult to get out of the city safely. But, at this time, it's really dangerous, or we can walk in the mountains instead of going into the city, okay? Qin Dazhuang was really worried about Xia Xiaomi's safety, so he kept trying to persuade him here. Xia Xiaomi gave Father Xia a wink helplessly, and after Father Xia received it, he stepped forward and pulled Qin Dazhuang over, and said heartily, Brother Qin, don't worry, my girl is not an ordinary person, you have also seen it, go up wasn't the leader last time injured by my daughter. Don't be afraid, her safety will be fine. Lin Yang was also worried about Xie Xiaomi's safety, but she was more restrained, and seeing Herman stepping forward to stop her, she could only silently worry behind. But, this. For a while, Qin Dazhuang didn't know whether to stop him or not. Taking advantage of his hesitation, Xie Xiaomi stepped out of the cave, changed into the only clean men's clothing in the space on the way, and walked towards the city gate. At this time, a lot of people had gathered outside the city gate. Fortunately, they did not check the guides except for their personal belongings. As the team moved forward, it was Xie Xiaomi's turn soon. Money, because he didn't have a package in his hand, so he didn't waste much time and was released into the city directly. Walking into Fucheng, seeing the buildings lined up on both sides of the street, it is not difficult to see that it was very lively in the past, but due to years of drought, the hustle and bustle of the past has disappeared. Close the door. After walking for a few streets and getting a general idea of the situation in the city, Xie Xiaomi first walked into a shop selling seeds. There were not many things left in the shop, not to mention the grain seeds, which were probably put away as life-saving food. The drowsy boss who was sitting on the side looked up and saw a person standing at the door, and he sat down on the ground in fright. Oh my mother! Xie Xiaomi's eyes twitched. Did the boss treat her as a female ghost, scared like this? Girl, what do you want to buy? The boss tidied up his expression, hurried forward, and asked with a smile, Girl, what do you want to buy? Boss, what seeds do you have here? I still have vegetables, fruits, and medicinal seeds here, but the grain seeds are gone. Well, how did you sell it? Girl. Do you have anything to exchange? Like food? Don't want money, still have such a good deal. Sure, I still have 20 steamed buns, how do you change them? Steamed buns. White flour. Well, that's right. White flour is good, and white flour is good. In this way, I will pack some of the existing types for you. Girl, do you think this is okay? Okay, you install it first, I'll get it at my house. Cheng, I'm waiting for the girl here. The boss is also a real person, and he doesn't worry about how the girl got the steamed buns. As long as he has something to eat, even if the steamed buns are stolen or robbed, he has to eat them to survive. Xie Xiaomi found a place where no one was around, found a piece of cloth, wrapped 20 white flour steamed buns collected in the previous life, and then walked around before returning to the seed shop. Girl, are you back? The boss stood at the door and looked around. He saw Xie Xiaomi walking from a distance, and hurriedly greeted him with a smile. Well, go in and talk. Okay, come in. The boss looked around cautiously, closed the door, went to the counter, took out a small bag, and handed it to Xie Xiaomi. Girl, there are quite a lot of types. I have separated them into small packages, and they are all in this bag. Take a look. Xie Xiaomi opened the bag, glanced at it, and found that there were quite a lot of types, so he didn't care, and put it away. Anyway, she doesn't know it, as long as she knows that it is a seed, it can be planted. She has the help of a godly friend, so why should she be afraid of planting the land? This is a steamed bun made of white flour. Boss, you count. Well. The boss quickly opened the cloth bag, and a scent of noodles came out, and the greedy boss almost didn't saliva. Okay, good stuff, I've never seen this big white steamed bun before. Okay, the money and goods are cleared, then I'll go. Okay, girl, go slowly, come back next time if you need it. Xie Xiaomi didn't reply, turned around and walked out of the seed shop, then found a place where no one was around, entered the space, and threw the bag of seeds to Tuan, let her use it to its fullest, and then came out again. After leaving the space, move on to the next destination. When they came to the only cloth shop around the corner, Xie Xiaomi walked in with a package on his back. After entering, first take a look at the situation in the cloth shop, so that you can have an idea in your heart. Is anyone there? Seeing that there was no one in the shop, Xie Xiaomi called towards the curtain behind the counter. Hey, here we come. A crisp female voice came, and then the curtain was lifted, and a young girl appeared in front of Xie Xiaomi. It's just that this young girl's complexion is the same as everyone else's, pale and dry. Girl, is there anything you want to buy? You can take a look. Do you have ready-made clothes here? Ready to wear? Some. Now there are cotton ready-made clothes in the warehouse, about a dozen pieces, and a few silk and satin clothes, as well as cotton and linen clothes. It depends on what you want. I want to wear it in autumn. Wear it in autumn. It's thicker, right? There are some. Then come both cotton and cotton ones, and those with children are the best. Bring me a few pairs of shoes, as well as clothes and shoes for children of a few years old. Okay, I'll get it for you right now. Wait. Xie Xiaomi called to stop the woman, looked up and looked outside, leaned up to her and whispered, "Can I exchange white flour steamed buns with you?" The young girl's eyes lit up when she heard that there were steamed buns. She hurried to the door and closed the door firmly, then returned to Xie Xiaomi and said to her, "Young lady, follow me to the back." Can. Xie Xiaomi followed the young woman to a compartment at the back, and heard her say, "Girl, how many steamed buns do you have? How much do you think these things are worth?" "Girl, I know food is expensive now, so I don't want too much. Just give me 10 steamed buns for these things." "Sure, but I still need some silver tails. I don't know if the girl has it here." "I can give you some steamed buns." "Really?" "Nature. I have money, I have it. Before the drought, my cloth shop was still very profitable. My parents saved a lot of money, but there was a shortage of food. I have food, and I hoarded it privately, but there is not much left, and I don't plan to stay here any longer. I plan to exchange some money and take my family out of here." "Okay, girl, I want all your food, don't worry, I will definitely give you a suitable price. I have 20 steamed buns here, 10 for the clothes, and the other 10, just give me money, and I'll go back and get the rest of the food." "Okay, girl, you wait." The young woman turned around and went to the cabinet to fetch a small box, opened it and put a few ingots of silver in it, and handed all of them to Xie Xiaomi. "Girl, here are 20 taels. I'll give you all of it. I don't ask for anything else. I just hope that the girl can bring us more food. I'll pay you the final payment then." "Okay, I'll be back later." Xie Xiaomi didn't delay, and quickly left the cloth shop, found a place where no one was around, took out rice and white flour from the space, put them in a basket, and thoughtfully put a few jars of pickles on his back. The back basket went back to the cloth shop. The young woman imagined the amount of food, but she didn't expect it to be much more than she thought, so she happily gave another 50 taels of silver. Earning 70 taels of silver in his hand, Xie Xiaomi was confident enough, went to the only grocery store still open, bought pots and bowls, chopsticks, and red clay stoves used in this era, and then left the city for a long time. Run to the cave where Xie's family stayed. Halfway up the mountain, Xie Xiaomi took out another featherless chicken from the space. She even chose a small one specially. After all, at this time, if she could take out a fat chicken, it would be called "It's Not Normal." Back in the cave, the Xie family and the Qin family and his wife all came up to welcome him. "Xiaomi, Xiaomi, are you okay?" The first one to jump up was not Xie's father or Xie's mother, but Lin Yang. "I'm fine, Auntie, it's all right." Okay, it's fine, it's fine." Only then did Lin Yang breathe a sigh of relief. She was waiting for this period of time, and she kept thinking about it. She was afraid that something would happen to Xiaomi. This is her benefactor, the benefactor who saved their family. Watch what happens to her. And Qin Dazhuang, who was not faster than his own daughter-in-law, quietly let out a sigh of relief when Xie Xiaomi said it was okay, and then silently stepped aside to play with the two children. "Father and mother, I bought a lot of clothes and shoes, share them with each other, and I also bought a chicken, some meat buns, steamed buns, but there are not many things sold in the city. What you can buy is limited." Okay, these are enough. Father Xie naturally knows where these things come from. In this era, there is no such white flour that can make such big meat buns. Calling Gooden and Xiaohua over, Mother Xie took 2 buns from Father Xie and handed them to the 2 little guys. "Hey, this meat bun is too oily. It's been a long time since you guys have eaten something so greasy. Auntie is afraid that your stomachs won't be able to bear it. Let's eat one today, shall we? I'll save 2 for you tomorrow." "Okay, thank you, Auntie." The 2 little guys are also sensible, although they don't understand, but they know it's for their own good. they didn't make any noise, opened their big watery eyes, took the meat buns. Xiao Hua still handed Xie a shy mother smiling, but Xie's mother is rare. Oh, this little spring flower is getting cuter and cuter. Second Aunt Xie also came up to her at this time, wanting to touch it, but she was afraid that her strong hand would hurt her. Xiao Chuanhua may have seen Second Aunt Xie's intentions, stretched out her withered and calloused hand, took Second Aunt Xie's hand, and gave him a shy smile. Second Aunt Xie was so happy, hugging Xia Kunhua felt rare for a while. Seeing his own mother's attitude, Guzi was already used to it, shrugged his shoulders, went to Xie's father, asked for 2 big meat buns cheekily, then hid aside and ate. It was gradually getting dark, everyone prepared firewood and hay early, and prepared to spend the night in the cave, and went to the city early tomorrow morning, and then continued to walk south. At night, Xie's father and Xie's mother would watch in the first half of the night, and Xie's second uncle and Xie's dog would watch in the second half of the night. After dawn, Lin Yang would be in charge of breakfast. Qin Dazhuang got up and cleaned up his 2 children first, and then went to help his wife. Xie Xiaomi heard the movement, and slowly opened his eyes, watching the family busy. His eyes couldn't help being tinged with warmth. This is so good, the family is together, neat and tidy, in another time and space, start a new life, no matter how hard it is, everything is worth it. Xiaomi, are you awake? Mother Xie walked over with a long gray coat, watched her daughter open her eyes, and greeted her gently. Mom, did you sleep well last night? Okay, you can wear this dress, but you are putting on the worn one outside. Mom, I'm not cold, just keep these 2 new clothes. What to keep? It's getting colder as you walk, you should wear it. Xie Xiaomi reluctantly took the clothes from her mother, put them on in a hurry, and put on the worn clothes she was wearing before. Fortunately, this body is thin, otherwise she would not be allowed to wear 2 clothes. See through. After a simple breakfast, Xie Xiaomi asked everyone to go first, and she finished up later. Father Xie also knew his daughter's intentions, so he led a few people out of the cave out loud. Xie Xiaomi put all the remaining firewood and hay into the space, simply erased the traces, and then went out to catch up. After going down the mountain and coming to the gate of the city, Xie Xiaomi took out 5 taels of silver and handed it to the gate guard. The guard was a little surprised. After looking at the faces of several people, he found that they were better than ordinary people fleeing famine, so there was not much what to say, check some carry-on packages and let go. Lin Yang and the 2 little guys came to Fuqing for one time, so they couldn't help being curious about the surrounding buildings. The members of Xie's family have never been to the city since they came to this dynasty, and they are also very curious about the buildings of this dynasty. He couldn't stop looking around. Hey, I think it should be very prosperous here. Father Xie walked from the beginning to the end, sighed, and uttered such a sentence. Qin Dazhuang also sighed and said, yes, this street used to be the most bustling in Fenghe Mansion, with the noise of street vendors and the noise of crowds, but now it is rare and quiet. I don't know when this drought will end. Seeing this situation, Xie Xiaomi couldn't help comforting him and said, one day it will be better. When that day comes, we will revisit the old place and experience the hustle and bustle of Fenghe Mansion again. Blossoming. Xiaomi is right, we will come when we have money. Second Aunt Xie was more optimistic, she was still sighing 1 second, and could live with a happy smile the next second. After leaving the city, continue heading south. This section of the road is not familiar to Qin Dazhuang, so Father Xie and the others can only choose the direction of the fork in the road based on their feelings. However, after leaving Fenghe Mansion, there were a lot fewer refugees. After all, most of them were intercepted in the ruined temples of Fenghe Mansion, and there were very few people who could afford the entry fee. After walking for 3 days, seeing that the sky was gradually getting dark, the mountains could not be seen in the distance, and the ruined temple could not be seen nearby, so everyone could only choose to rest in the open air. This is really a novel experience, but it's the first time I slept with the sky as my cover. Guzi was quite happy, and he was not dissatisfied at all because of sleeping in the wilderness. Xie Xiaomi gave him a blank look at his Arab brother, lit a fire with his hands and feet, then took out steamed buns and baked them. Qin Dazhuang's family also took out big pancakes, put them by the fire, and baked them. Hey, I don't know when it will be the first time. I'm afraid this dry food is running out. Brother Qin's dry food is not enough. Father Xie turned his head to look at Qin Dazhuang at this moment and asked. I brought the dry food from home, and it's almost enough to eat. It's okay, we still have some, let's share some with you. This won't work, brother Xie, this food is life-saving, how can we take it outside? Qin Dazhuang quickly waved his hands. His family also ate a lot of food from Xie's family along the way, so there was no reason why they had to take other people's dry food at the end. Hey, brother Qin, we didn't treat you as an outsider when we took you along. We are a family now, and we share weal and woe. Besides, we really don't lack dry food, so you can keep it. Brother Xie will comfort me, there is no shortage of dry food these days. This time Father Xie was embarrassed. He didn't know how to explain it, so he could only turn his attention to his own daughter. Xie Xiaomi couldn't bear to see her father suffer, so she took up the conversation. Uncle Qin, after passing Fenghe Mansion, the drought has eased a lot. If we want to come to the next mansion, we can go in and buy more food. Besides, we still have a lot here, enough to eat. Qin Dazhuang thought about it, and it was indeed the case. Although it was also a drought along the way, it was not as serious as that of Fenghe Mansion. It seemed that he could replenish some food at the next place, so he was not entangled. Okay, thank you brother, I will return it to brother Xie when the next prefecture can replenish the food. Success, success. Father Xie didn't refuse, just afraid that if he refused, the two of them would still argue. Xie Xiaomi was sitting on a stone beside her, looking at the surroundings vigilantly. Suddenly, there was a slight noise, which caught her attention. She quietly turned her head to look at the source of the sound, with a cold light in her eyes, as if she was staring at prey. Stare somewhere. Boss, this little girl found us, didn't she? I found a ghost. It's just a little girl's film. Boss, I'm afraid of her. That is, the boss is so wise and powerful, how can he be afraid of a little girl's film? The boss was full of pride when he was complimented by the minions, and suddenly felt that he was more wise and powerful. Let's go, let's take the people back to the stockade. It just so happens that none of the people in the stockade are in my favor. This time I will take one back by myself. A few people did not hide, and ran out of the grass with a huff. Seeing this scene, Qin Dazhuang immediately stood up and stood in front of Lin Yang and the two children. The Xie family sat there calmly and did not move. Yo, you guys are quite calm. A few minions shook the big knives in their hands, and looked at these shabby pedestrians in surprise. Oh. So what if you're calm, so what if you're not calm? Presumptuous, when you see the second head of our family, don't hurry up and come up to pay a visit. Xie Xiaomi looked at the men who spoke with a half-smile. See you again. Those who don't know think you are some dignitaries, just a group of country people. Fart, our second in command is the second in command of our village, how can it be compared to people in the countryside? The stockade. Xie Xiaomi was taken aback for a moment, and then suddenly realized that this is not a den of bandits, is it? Thinking of the bandits' lair, Xie Xiaomi's mind is now full of glittering gold and silver treasures. Suddenly his mind moved, and he hid behind Xie's father pretending to be afraid, and said in a trembling voice, Father, I'm afraid. Father Xie was taken aback by his own daughter. After hearing her daughter speak, Father Xie's eyelids almost twitched and went numb. Seeing that his own father didn't respond, Xie Xiaomi twisted Xie's father's waist, and Xie's father immediately groaned in pain. Then he quickly covered his mouth with his hands. Several people on the opposite side looked at each other in blank dismay, not knowing where the trouble was coming from. Just now, the girl who looked like she was not afraid of anything, how could she be afraid all of a sudden? Is this reflection arc a little bit long? Cough cough, what are you guys trying to do? Xie Xiaomi felt that Father Xie's reaction was too slow, so he stretched out his hand and twisted on Father Xie's back. Hold back. Although the people on the opposite side were puzzled, they suppressed the weird feeling when they thought that these people were refugees and there was no threat. He said bluntly, our second leader has taken a fancy to your daughter. This is a blessing for your family. Let's go and follow us back to the village, so that you will not be displaced. That's right, this girl has found a good husband-in-law. You, father-in-law, haven't you found a good son-in-law too? Several people roared with laughter, but the head of the second leader looked at Xie Xiaomi cheerfully, wishing to rush forward and take him back into the bridal chamber. Xie Xiaomi hid behind Xie's father and kept twitching the corners of his mouth. This F*** king second in command is pretending to be shit, right? She looks like dry bean sprouts now. her face is even more black and red, and she can't see her original appearance. Are you interested in this? Are all men so picky these days? Father Xie didn't know what to do for a while. He didn't know what his daughter meant, and he didn't dare to talk back. Father, pretend to be subdued, let's go up with them. Then he whispered to Qin Dazhuang and the others, follow me later, don't worry, I won't let you have trouble. After so many days of getting along, Qin Dazhuang was inexplicably convinced by Xie Xiaomi's words. Although it might be a little dangerous this time, he still chose to believe in Xie Xiaomi and nodded slightly, but he hugged the two children more tightly. Tight. The two little guys opened their big innocent eyes, and they didn't know how to be afraid. After all, they were too young to know whether the current situation was dangerous. They just relied on their parents. You, don't even think about it, I are only one daughter, and I will never let her enter any stockade. After Xie's father finished speaking these words intermittently, Xie's mother and Xie's second aunt hid behind them, giggling and shrugging their shoulders. It has to be said that Father Xie is quite talented in acting. No, after saying this, the second master immediately became angry. Are you toasting and not eating fine wine? Come here, tie me up. Father Xie pretended to be trembling in fear, and Xie Xiaomi leaned out from behind Father Xie shyly at this time and said, don't be tied up, we will follow you. Those people on the opposite side, why is this style of painting a bit wrong, but can't tell what's wrong? It's hard to blame these fools with little IQ. I've never seen such a family that doesn't play cards according to common sense. But when the second-in-command heard this, he thought it was his charm that moved Xie Xiaomi, which made her obedient and nodded in satisfaction. Well, just be obedient and take it away. Xie's family didn't need them to come and rush, they automatically walked to the side of the group of people, and followed them forward without making a sound. While walking, Xie's family was still thinking, there are no mountains around here. Where did the bandits' den come from? It wasn't until they were led to a courtyard-like house next to a small hill that they realized that this cottage was not that cottage. And looking at these houses, they are relatively new, and they have just been built not too long ago. Xie Xiaomi pursed her lips and looked at the yard in front of her unhappy. It's so new, this group of people must have just moved in. How much gold, silver, and jewelry can there be, miscalculated? Hey! But no grasshopper legs, no matter how small they are still meat, right? Maybe there are too many, there will always be a few hundred tails, right? Thinking of this, Xie Xiaomi immediately regained his energy, put on a pitiful face, and hid behind Xie's father again. Father Xie was lamenting that the courtyard was built here. If there were mountains and rivers, it would be considered a paradise, but he was pushed forward by his daughter. The corner of his mouth subconsciously twitched again. He glanced at the people around and ignored them. Father Xie whispered to Xie Xiaomi, girl, what are you doing? You have to tell your father and me. Otherwise, why should your father and I accompany you to act? Bandits, robbery, silver. Xie Xiaomi didn't say much, just said a few key words. Xie's father immediately understood, and then turned around to give Xie Xiaomi a thumbs up. His girl really fell into Qian's eyes. The minions in front opened the gate of the courtyard, and called the brothers inside to come and lock them together, waiting for tomorrow to tidy up the courtyard, so that it can be used by the second master to get married. A few people came over, looked them up and down, and then looked at Xie Xiaomi's black and red face, and suddenly sighed that the second-in-command of his family has a unique taste. Seeing that their family is so obedient, they didn't make things difficult for them, they just locked them in the woodshed. Xie Xiaomi stood by the door and saw those people walking away, so she said to Father Xie, Father, are these people fools? They don't know how to tie us up, and they are not afraid that we will run away. Well, if it wasn't for a fool, would he be able to see you now? Even Xie's father couldn't bear to look directly at his daughter's appearance after putting on makeup, but Xie Xiaomi was also very helpless. As their family came here for a longer time, the soul and body became more and more compatible, and the appearance it is also getting closer to the previous life, plus the food is good, and the mountain spring water with spiritual energy is drunk, so everyone looks white and clean, which does not conform to the current style of refugees. Xie Xiaomi came up with a sudden idea and helped everyone put on ugly makeup. In fact, the biggest change here is Xie Xiaomi. It may be because of the space she has. Not only has her memory improved, but her body has also recuperated faster than others. Angry. Coupled with the fighting skills of the previous life, that small fist is also fierce in martial arts, and it will overwhelm a group of strong men in minutes. Even Guzi is envious every day, and for a while he pestered Xie Xiaomi to let her teach martial arts. But he was ruthlessly rejected by Xie Xiaomi, and asked him to fully recuperate his body and come to practice, which dispelled Guzi's interest. He honestly drank tasteless milk every day, looking forward to practicing as soon as possible. A peerless martial arts, also good at fighting the sword. Hey, this great ideal is not only shared by Guzi Xie, but also by Uncle Xie. As expected of a father and son, they are the same. Fortunately, Aunt Xie is holding them back, otherwise the father and son would go to heaven. When Xie's mother heard what Xie's father said, she gave him a reproachful look, and then looked at Xie Xiaomi with loving eyes. Xiaomi, don't listen to your father's nonsense, my daughter is beautiful no matter what. Xie Xiaomi's starry eyes were full of starlight, and she smiled at Xie's mother, but with that face, it made people daunted. Xiaomi, what are you going to do next? Second Aunt Xie is eager to try it now, she really wants to rush out and exercise. Her muscles and bones are rusted when she is not active. I'll go out to sweep around at night, and then see if this group of people is good or bad. If they haven't done anything too extreme, let them live. Sure, then you can take second aunt with you. Xie Xiaomi glanced at the second aunt of the Xie family, shook her head, and said, second aunt should stay here honestly, after all, the Qin family is powerless, so if I leave, who will protect them? When second Aunt Xie heard this, she turned out to be so important, immediately nodded like a chicken pecking at rice, patted the dry flat chest like an airport and assured, don't worry, Xiaomi, second aunt will definitely protect the Qin family. Well, second aunt is really nice. Presenting a big face to second Aunt Xie immediately drifted away. She felt that she had never been as happy as she is now in her life. After coaxing the second aunt, Xie Xiaomi sat back beside the firewood and waited quietly. In the dead of night, everyone in the yard went back to rest. Xie Xiaomi opened his bright eyes, stood up quietly, took out a tool with his hands, and stood at the window, clicked a few times, and the window opened in response. Under the shocked eyes of the Qin family and the indifferent eyes of the Xie family, Xie Xiaomi leaned on the window lattice and walked directly into the yard, then closed the window quietly, and walked lightly to the main room. Some time ago, she bought a lot of medicinal seeds in Fenghe Mansion, and was planted by the cute little Tuan Tuan. Xie Xiaomi made a lot of medicinal powders for self-defense according to the medical tips, including ecstasy. Quietly unlocking the locked door of the main room, after walking in, Xie Xiaomi sprinkled a handful of powder on the two people lying on the bed, and then the people on the bed snored everywhere, even if they were thrown out now, they would not wake up. In the darkness of night, for Xie Xiaomi, it is like daytime. Rifled through boxes and cabinets to find the mechanism, and survived. Xie Xiaomi was almost laughed out of anger. No matter how you live in the main house, he must be a master. As for, so poor. She dug out all the mouse holes, but she didn't take out a single coin. Could it be that the money is not here? Then he glanced at the bed, thought for a moment, carried the two people on the bed directly to the ground, lifted the quilt that made the bed, and began to knock around on the bed, but found that there was no hidden compartment or mechanism. Did she run away for nothing? Thinking that he might be in another room, Xie Xiaomi regained his energy. The people on the ground ignored him, and went directly to the room next to the second leader's house, and he was so fierce as a tiger again. Finally, he came out with a black face. Why is this poor place poorer than me? Where is the money? Still not reconciled, Xie Xiaomi felt that he could still save. He walked all the houses in this yard, and finally came to the conclusion that this poor place is really poor. Angrily, he returned to the room where Xie's family was held, opened the window, jumped in, and then slammed the window shut. Shocked, everyone rushed up to greet him, pulled Xie Xiaomi over, closed the window tightly, and sat there obediently, as if nothing had happened just now. Seeing his daughter's angry face, Father Xie asked curiously, "What's the matter? My little ancestor, wasn't he quite happy when he went out? Why did he come back with a dark face? Could it be that he didn't have enough money? It's okay, mosquito, no matter how small it is, it's still meat, and it's better than nothing, right?" Consoling her own daughter there, she didn't see Xie Xiaomi's ugly face at all. Xie's mother took a look at her daughter's expression, and quickly poked her husband who had no winks. "Hey, don't stab me, I haven't finished yet." I wanted to continue, but Xia's mother couldn't stand it any longer, so she reached out and covered his mouth with her hand. Ha, ha. Ha ha. Seeing his father like this, Xia Xiaomi's originally dark face softened a bit, but he was still a little angry, so he replied angrily, "There are no mosquito legs here." Well. Father Xia was at a loss. But Xia's mother understood that there is no money here. It is indeed very poor. No wonder her daughter is unhappy. Xiaomi, it's okay, at least we have a place to live, and we don't have to sleep in the wilderness anymore. There are doors and windows here, at least we can shelter from the wind, right? Okay. Xia Xiaomi was indeed comforted, nodded, and decided to sleep well. Anyway, the group of people were overwhelmed by her medicine, and there would be no danger tonight, so it's better to have a good rest. Everyone, go to sleep, there will be no danger at night, take a good rest. When everyone heard Xia Xiaomi say this, they knew that she must have done something, and they all relaxed and nestled aside, ready to sleep well. Lin Yang also took out some thick clothes, threw them on the firewood, put the two little guys on it, patted them, and let them sleep peacefully. The two little guys said hello in a childlike voice, and then obediently closed their eyes. Early in the morning of the second day, the sun was already up to 3 poles, and only then did there be any movement in the yard. Hey, are you up late too? Isn't it? I feel that I slept very well yesterday, and my insomnia is gone. Me too, I felt like I had a good dream yesterday. The people in the yard were very curious, but they didn't think much about it. They were still busy with what they should do every day. After a while, a roar came from the main room. Fuck, why did I sleep on the floor? Everyone, do you still have this hobby, roll yourself to sleep? However, due to the majesty of the head of the family, everyone went to work honestly. After a morning of turmoil, when I thought of Xia Xiaomi and the others, it was already noon. Let's go, the second head of the big family wants to see you. A young man who followed the second head and brought them back yesterday came to open the door and called a few people out. Xia Xiaomi and the big guy came out of the firewood room, and followed the little guy to the hall next to the main house silently. Entering the hall, there are 2 people sitting at the first place. One is the first head who Xia Xiaomi moved last night, and the other is the second head who brought their family back. Sitting under the head of the family was a woman with a handsome face and neat clothes. Xia Xiaomi identified it carefully, only to find that this woman is the one who slept on the bed of the head of the house yesterday. You are the girl my second brother is going to marry? Oh, I'm afraid he is a little wishful thinking. No money was found in this stockade yesterday. Xia Xiaomi's full of resentment can't be directed at his family, it's always okay to send it at the brothers, right? The head of the family obviously didn't expect Xia Xiaomi to have such a big resentment when he opened his mouth. He frowned, looked at his second brother who was sitting next to him and was still laughing, and couldn't help but help his forehead. With this appearance, can his second brother marry? How short of a woman is this? Second brother, do you really want to marry her? The head of the family couldn't help asking with his forehead bulging. Brother, she's the only one, I just like her. That's it. The boss really had nothing to do with this younger brother, so he could only compromise and look at Xia Xiaomi's unbearable face, forcing himself to finish the rest of the sentence. Girl, although our place is a village, we basically want to find a safe place in troubled times. People here have to be self-sufficient. Yesterday was the first time my second brother took people out. I didn't expect it to be for disturbing the girl. I am here to apologize for my second brother. Xia Xiaomi raised his eyebrows, he didn't expect that the boss could speak. Are you sure you don't do that burning, killing, looting thing? Yes, we have never done it before. Even these weapons are for self-defense. After all, I am in a troubled world. I don't think about myself, but also the group of people under me. Well, it's a good one. I wonder if I can talk to this master alone. The boss didn't expect Xia Xiaomi to have such a request. He raised his eyebrows and originally wanted to refuse, but the delicate woman who made the attack showed a shallow smile at this time and said, okay. As soon as the woman opened her mouth, everyone lost their opinion. Xia's family and Qin Dazhuang's family were taken out, and the second family was still reluctant to leave, but the woman gave him a light stare, and followed them out obediently. Xia Xiaomi glanced at this woman with a half-smile, but she didn't expect that she was a real person, but she was preconceived. This is a big taboo. It seems that she has left the apocalypse, and even the most basic alertness is gone. After everyone left, the woman opened her reddish lips, and her voice was as elegant as a spring. "Young lady, I'm afraid that you have figured out the situation of the whole village yesterday, right?" "Oh. How can you see it?" "Young girl's whole body temperament, and this look in the eyes, don't seem to be threatened by my second brother. I think he came here with a purpose, right?" "Well, indeed, but the goal was not achieved, and I am very unhappy." "Oh, the girl is a real person, so how can I make the girl happy?" The head of the family trembled. If his wife hadn't seen through this girl, he would have been kept in the dark. "Originally, I had other plans, but now that I see this girl is so caring, I have changed my mind." "Why don't you tell me? I'm rather curious." The delicate woman changed her sitting position. Her eyes were as clear as flowing water, but her expression did not change at all. "Okay, then let's talk about my purpose." Half an hour later, Xie Xiaomi came out from the hall, followed by the head of the house and that handsome woman. "Thank you, girl, let's go slowly." "Well, I look forward to our meeting again." "Me too." Xie Xiaomi nodded, turned his head and walked to his family, turned his head and glanced at the woman who is the head of the family, and then left without hesitating. Seeing Xie Xiaomi leaving, the Erdangjia was a little dazed for a while, and just about to go up to stop him, he was stopped by a delicate woman. "Second brother, don't mess around." "Sister-in-law, that's my daughter-in-law, why did you let her go? She is not something you can afford." After speaking, she looked at the back of Yuan Chu, with a dazed expression on her face. Thinking of what Xie Xiaomi gave her just now, her fighting spirit was instantly ignited. The order goes on, "Everyone, gather in the yard, I have something to order." "Yes, ma'am." The Xie family didn't even ask Xie Xiaomi what they talked about with the head. Anyway, they left safely, so they didn't care about those things. But at this time, Xie Xiaomi was dripping with blood. He finally earned 70 taels, and posted it upside down, so wronged. There was nothing to say all the way, and finally when it was dark, a few people came to a broken house that could barely shelter from the wind and rain, and took a look at the sky outside. "Can't see anything anymore." Uncle Xie took Guzi and Aunt Xie to collect firewood outside. Father Xie and Mother Xie were looking for useful things in the dilapidated house. Niang Lin looked at the child. A place to sleep. After Uncle Xie came back with the firewood, Niang Lin gave the child to Aunt Xie, took the firewood and lighted the fire quickly, opened the water bag, and poured water into the pot. Xie Xiaomi was heading up the back mountain at this time. After eating dry food for a few days, it was time to improve the food for everyone. Although it was inconvenient to take the Qin family with her, she felt it was worth it. After all, it is very rare to be able to maintain the original intention at such a time. The proficient Yun Nei Qi rested on his feet and galloped quickly in the forest. Xie Xiaomi sighed again. "If I knew it earlier, I would practice light kung fu. It seems that it must be put on the agenda as soon as possible. Originally, I wanted to find a secret place to enter the space, but when I ran to the middle of the mountain, I heard a faint voice coming from the mountain, and the voice didn't seem to be from Fenglan Kingdom." Concealing his figure, he carefully identified the words of the person in front, and found that it was in Korean. "Boss, we lost people. Trash, you can lose an injured person. This subordinate deserves to die, and is willing to sacrifice meritorious deeds. Go, keep looking, if you want to see a person, if you want to see a corpse." "Yes, chief." The two disappeared suddenly, leaving Xie Xiaomi there with his head bowed in thought. "In the end, I came to a conclusion that no matter who this person is, if she is hunted down by someone from a country other than her own, she must be rescued. She is quite loved by her compatriots. But the premise is that she has to find that person. Forget it, it's better not to meddle in other people's business. There is still her family below. If she fails to handle one of them, she may have to implicate her family. This is not what she wants to see." Turning around and rushing to the opposite place, thinking that the time was almost up, he wanted to enter the space, suddenly felt a cold sweat on his back, and there was a gaze fixed on her, as if he was the prey. "Who?" Xie Xiaomi turned around and looked at where his eyes came from, and saw a man holding a long sword and wearing a crown of feathers standing in the night. It's just that the back is a little lumpy, and the other hand seems to be covering his chest. Smelling it carefully, there was a faint smell of blood in the air. Xie Xiaomi smiled helplessly. "Is this a fate given by God? I didn't want to be nosy at first, but who knew that this would happen to me?" slowly walking towards the men, looking at him vigilantly, holding a dagger smuggled out of the space in his hand, afraid that the men would stand up suddenly in the next second and threaten his life. "Stop." A deep, hoarse and magnetic voice sounded, but that voice carried an aura of majesty and death that cannot be ignored. "You're injured." Xie Xiaomi was simple and clear, and really didn't want to make trouble with this man. After all, those people who can speak Korean are not far from here. If we delay, I'm afraid something will happen. You know too much, you shouldn't live in this world. The man drew his sword and was about to charge towards Xie Xiaomi. Xie Xiaomi used his internal energy to retreat, and said, "Those people are nearby, if you want to survive, stop." The man's injured body swayed slightly, and he stopped, but his eyes were still staring at Xie Xiaomi like a hawk. "How do you know?" "I just heard it." "Nonsense, what they speak is not the language of our Fenglan country, how do you understand it?" "Then don't worry about it, I know anyway, so I'll ask you, do you want to live?" The man pursed his lips tightly, staring at Xie Xiaomi's disguised face for a moment. Then he gritted his teeth and said, "Yes. If you want to, then listen to me." Xie Xiaomi put the dagger in his waist, pretended to pull out his sleeve, but actually used his mind to take out a pack of golden sore medicine from the space, and walked towards the man. "Here, I heard that this is the best medicine for golden sores, I don't believe you don't know." The man did smell it, and it was because he smelled it that he was shocked. How could this tattered girl have such a good medicine for sores, and look at her martial arts? He is not familiar with it. He thinks he knows all the martial arts of Fenglan Kingdom, but he can't see through Xie Xiaomi. He lifted his tattered hem to reveal the brand new cotton gown inside, reached out his hand mercilessly, and tore off a large piece from his hem. Seeing this scene, the man's eyes flickered slightly, and then he calmed down. Xie Xiaomi took out a small cloth bag from behind. There was a bottle in the cloth bag, which contained mountain spring water, which had the effect of disinfection and anti-inflammation. Tearing off the clothes on the man's chest, Xie Xiaomi opened the bottle cap without looking sideways, and gently wiped the wound with the man's torn old clothes. On the table, he tied a bow beautifully, and then withdrew his hand in satisfaction. "What do you do next?" "Wait in the mountains." Just finished speaking, there was the sound of feet stepping on the grass in the distance. Xie Xiaomi quickly picked up the dagger, helped the men to protect him behind him, and stared at the front with cold eyes. The man was shocked by the chilling aura emanating from her body. He had never seen such a strong killing and decisive aura from any woman. Who is this woman? Although I was suspicious in my heart, a certain solid barrier had been gradually broken and slowly seeped into the light because of the woman standing in front of me. Xie Xiaomi's expression was chilling and cold, the dagger in her hand was tightly held, her eyes were fixed on the dozen or so people running over in front of her. She estimated in her heart what her odds of winning were, and what would she do if she had no chance of winning. Escape. More than a dozen people came to Xie Xiaomi in a short while, and the leader fell to his knees with a plop, and said anxiously, "This subordinate is one step late, and the general has been troubled. Please punish the general." Who I am, where am I, what is the situation now, what the hell are these people calling the general? They're all up, this time I don't blame you, it's the general's negligence, and he fell into the trap of these people. Fortunately, this girl rescued me, otherwise, the general might have died here. The leader turned his head at this moment, kowtowed 3 times to Xie Xiaomi, and then said sincerely, "Thank you for saving my life, thank you for saving our general." The girl is the benefactor of the subordinates and the general. The benefactor of the government, he will repay him every day. There's no need to answer it every other day, let's just do it today. I don't like to turn around and find someone to settle accounts. I don't know what request the girl has, as long as it is something we can do, I will definitely not refuse. There is no request, but I don't know how much your general is worth, so just give the money. The men behind him paused. He didn't expect that what the girl asked for was money. Could it be that he is not good-looking? Isn't it worth her attention? Doesn't she want it? Suddenly shaking his head, he put aside the thoughts in his head, and couldn't help but feel a little annoyed, what he was thinking in a mess. "Girl, the life of our general is priceless, but I'm in a hurry, and I can't bring too much money, so, this." The leader looked at his general with some embarrassment, and his eyes were full of pleading for help. A certain general slowly pulled off the jade pendant used to press the robe on his body, handed it to Xie Xiaomi and said, "Girl, this jade pendant is my carry-on and my keepsake. You just have to go to Tongbao Bank and show this jade pendant. Jade pendant, you can receive 10,000 taels of gold. When Xie Xiaomi heard this, his eyes lit up immediately. 10,000 taels of gold, how much is that? She's golden. Wow, she's hot. There will be more people like this in the future, and she can become a rich man just by saving her life. Although he was happy in his heart, he didn't show it on his face. He calmly took the jade pendant and put it in his arms. When a certain general saw his jade pendant being put into his arms by the little girl, his whole body became hot. It was the jade pendant he had worn for more than 10 years. This girl actually put it in his arms, and with her close to the body. This picture. The general is so upright, and I am not unreasonable, little girl. This box of golden sore medicine is prepared by myself. The effect is much better than ordinary ones. I give it to you. There is also this dagger, which is extremely sharp. It cuts iron like mud. There are few weapons in this world that can match it, so you still earned it. The man took the dagger handed over by Xie Xiaomi, looked it over carefully, and stroked the blade lightly with his hand. He couldn't help but tremble in his heart. The craftsmanship of this manufacturing is really exquisite. This is a forging continuation that Fenglan Kingdom does not have. What is the origin of this girl? Gathering his mind, the man cupped his hands and said to Xie Xiaomi, Xiao Boyan, I wonder if the girl can tell me her name. In the future, Xiao will definitely repay her kindness. Thank you Xiaomi, General Xiao, just leave now. After finishing speaking, Xie Xiaomi turned around and left without hesitation. She had been up the mountain for too long. She was afraid that the family members at the bottom of the mountain would be anxious, so she galloped down the mountain quickly. Sweet potatoes, and some mountain delicacies. I just went back to make some soup to drink, to go to the cold. General, this girl's exercises are so unique. You haven't seen it either. I've never seen it before. I've never seen it before. It seems that there are still many things in this world that we don't know. General, next we will send people to search the mountain, and be sure to give those sticks to General Ben to shatter his bones and ashes. Yes, this subordinate takes orders. The men stepped aside respectfully, and waved at the people behind him. A dozen people immediately dispersed and flew in all directions in the mountain. But Xiao Boyan was looking at the direction down the mountain, with a thoughtful expression. The light in his eyes was flickering, and he didn't know what he was thinking about. Xie Xiaomi flew down the mountain and was surrounded by the Xie family and the Qin family. Xiaomi, are you okay? Why have you been here for so long? Mother Xie pulled her daughter to look him up and down worriedly. Before Xie Xiaomi could answer, he was pulled over by Father Xie again and greeted him with the same greeting. I'm fine. You all know the drought here, so I walked a lot into the mountains, and then I found some food. It's just been a while. It's fine, don't worry. It's fine, but I'm worried to death. Okay, Mother, I'm fine, let's go back. The group returned to the ruined temple again. Xie Xiaomi threw the sweet potatoes in his arms on the ground, and then asked Xie Erguzi to roast them one by the fire. Then I threw the cleaned mountain delicacies directly into the pot, poured a lot of water, and boiled a pot of delicious mushroom soup. When the potatoes and sweet potatoes were ready, everyone served a bowl of soup and sat by the fire to drink it. Well, this tastes really delicious. Isn't that right? It's been a long time since I had such a delicious soup. The mountain delicacies are also very tender. I didn't expect such fresh mountain delicacies to exist under this natural disaster. Hey, Xiaomi girl, it seems that she ran a long way to find these things. We have also seen the situation near the foot of the mountain. They are all bare, and only the deep mountain has a hint of greenery. Lin Yang looked at Xie Xiaomi, who was sitting over there arguing with Erguzi, with love and distress in her eyes. Well, Lin Yang, we are the blessings we cultivated in the previous life. In this life, we met Xie's family. In the future, not only the two of us, but also the children will be counted. Don't forget this great kindness. Don't worry, Mrs. Lin, she knows in her heart that in the future, when the children grow up a little bit, Lin Yang will tell them these things and teach them to repay their kindness. Good Lady Lin, thank you for your hard work. Qin Dazhuang put his arms around his wife and said softly. Lin Yang turned her head in embarrassment, quickly finished the bowl of soup in her hand, ate 2 sweet potatoes, and took the 2 children to bed. Xie Xiaomi set off and continued to go south. He originally thought that the disaster would ease a little as he went south. Who would have thought that after entering Chuan Mansion, the land would still be very dry and cracked, but it was the end of August, near the beginning of September, and the temperature was not so high. Only high. There seemed to be quite a few refugees here. Father Xie took a look. There were more and more refugees along the way, and their hearts couldn't stop twitching. Father, be careful. Xie Xiaomi kept his eyes on the front, but looked around from the corner of his eyes to prevent unexpected situations from happening. Hey, we have been walking for more than days since we came out of Xiejia village. I feel like I have no head. Second Uncle Xie couldn't help sighing. It's too tired and crooked, walking repeatedly every day, except for the first 2 nights. He can eat 2 good meals, and after so many days, as long as he can eat enough, he will be satisfied. Second uncle doesn't want to leave. It's not really, it just feels very irritating. Xie Xiaomi nodded knowingly. This situation is normal. They are not bad. After all, they all know that she has space as a backing. At least it is not a problem to eat enough. No one is worried about this, but they are concerned about the future life. Some are at a loss and unknown, making my mood impetuous. Second uncle, don't worry, we are going to the next city to take a look. If the situation is a little bit better, we will find a place to settle down first, and make a good rectification. After the new year, the road will be civilized, and we are leaving. That's fine, otherwise, going on like this all the time will make people feel depressed. Xie Xiaomi shook his head helplessly. Second Uncle Xie's family are all out-of-the-box temperaments. It's already a record-breaking record to be able to persist in such a boring life for more than days before complaining. At noon, the sun was high in the sky. Xie's family found a shade and sat down, but they didn't dare to take out food. They were surrounded by refugees who were staring at them. Everyone didn't eat. If they still had food, isn't that the target of public criticism? Sitting dryly like this, Sierra Guzzi felt a little drowsy. Suddenly there was a scream, which frightened Sierra Guzzi's doze off. What happened? Xie Xiaomi slowly opened his eyelids, looking at the scene that was happening in the distance. What are you going to do? Let go, let go, let go of my child, let go of my child. A woman was holding the child in her hands and was tugging with several men. The eyes of the men were shining. They were so hungry that they couldn't take it any longer. It happened that this woman approached them with a child, so they made up their minds about the child. Let go. Sister-in-law, you just can't think about it. It's a burden to take care of a child. It's so little big, and it's so hard for you to take care of it. Why don't you let it go to us, and you can also be out of sight, right? Why, this is my child, why are you robbing my child? The little guy cried and howled endlessly. Maybe he was scared, or maybe he was a little hurt from being pulled, and the tears kept falling down like beads with a broken thread. Everyone around looked at this scene blankly. No one stepped forward to help. The woman's eyes were cruel, and she bit the hand of the person who was pulling. The man was in pain, and slapped the woman swinging back to the side. He also released the hand that restrained the child. The woman hugged her child tightly, her eyes full of vigilance. Xiao Nyangpi, it seems that it won't work for me to negotiate with you. I have to force me to use extreme measures, right? You bad guys, even if I crash into this tree, I won't let you succeed. Okay, then you hit it. After the collision, you think your corpses will be preserved intact. This will save us trouble. There was a flash of panic in the woman's eyes, and she didn't know what to do for a while, but she would rather die than watch her child being taken away by these people. Absolutely not. What? Hit it. A few men were still booing over there, and the hatred in the woman's eyes deepened. Are you just watching them steal people and eat them? This time you watched our mother and daughter die violently. It's hard to guarantee that it won't be your turn tomorrow. Do you have no compassion at all? Girl, it's not that we don't have compassion, but that in this world, life is hard, but who wants to die? The woman hugged her child and shrank aside. Yes, who wants to die? Didn't even she want to live, so she escaped from the village alone with her child. Is there really no way out? Since she is dead no matter what, why did she bring the child out in the first place? The woman's eyes were full of despair, and she buried her head in the child's arms, crying from her arms. The voice was full of pain, unwillingness, and lifelessness. Ah, my God, how unfair are you? What is wrong with us ordinary people? You want to punish us like this? Let us be displaced, our families are destroyed, what is the reason for? The woman's words struck everyone's hearts, and some even started to sob along with them. Several men felt uncomfortable seeing this scene, but in order to live, they had to continue to do outrageous things. Just as he was about to reach out and continue to snatch the child from the woman's arms, many women and men suddenly stood up among the refugees, staring at the men with resentful eyes, and said in a deep voice, God is unfair to us, but this is not the reason for us to kill each other, we have suffered enough, you beasts, why deprive us of the right to live? Yes, why do you deprive them of it? More and more people stood up, a few men were frightened and quickly picked up the package, and ran away in a hurry. The woman hugged the child, knelt on the ground and kowtowed to everyone, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And Xie Xiaomi's cold eyes filled with warmth, and the corners of his mouth slightly curled up. Looking at the scorching sun and the blue sky, he thought to himself, is this the most simple state of the ancients? Sure enough, it is much more humane than the end of the world, that's great, isn't it? Although this incident was a small episode, it caused quite a stir in the hearts of these refugees. Instead of sweeping the snow, everyone was united and prepared to move on to the south. The Xie family did not leave alone, but continued walking with the group of people. Although eating may not be as convenient as before, it is also a good choice to feel a different kind of human touch. After walking for another 4 days, the number of refugees became more and more, and the hearts of Xie's family became heavier and heavier. Dad, it seems that Chuan Mansion has also been in drought for a long time. Well, yes, I don't know if we are going south, is it right? Xie Xiaomi was also very annoyed. If she had known about the ghost general she met that day, she would have asked about it. Why didn't she remember this trouble? You can only take one step at a time. Hey, that's the only way to go. Everyone's route is basically a remote path, but on the remote path, they have to pass through the Fucheng, and it is not so easy to enter the Fucheng. The gate of Chuan Mansion is closed tightly, no matter how loud you shout, no one will open the gate. The refugees all gathered outside the city gate, either lying or sitting, in short, how they felt comfortable. Father Xie looked at the situation in front of him with a serious expression on his face, and the expressions of the rest of the Xie family were not particularly good either. Only Xie Xiaomi is relatively relaxed, so what are you afraid of? She has space, at worst, she will stun the Qin family, bring them all into the space, and then try to find a way to cross the city wall in the dark, and then go out from the other side. Xiaomi, we can't stay here for too long, or else these refugees will riot and we can protect ourselves, not necessarily the Qin family. Okay, I know. The Qin family still has 2 children. If there are so many refugees rioting, it is inevitable that they will be trampled on. At that time, if they can't even take care of themselves, how can they take care of their children? Father, let's go to a remote place. Okay, let's go. Father Xie gestured at second Uncle Xie and the Qin family, and wanted to leave the gate of the city, but after walking a few steps, he was stopped by some ragged men. What do you mean by that? What do you mean? I want to ask you what you mean. We've already reached the gate of the city. It's not good to leave. Maybe we can pass tomorrow. It's a pity to leave at this time. It's nothing to be sorry about. Even if we can pass tomorrow, we'll just come back then, and we won't delay anything. Besides, there are already so many people lying here, and we can't let the dozen or so of us go. Why don't we find another place? How about staying comfortably? Since you're here, don't leave. Haven't you heard that people are powerful? Can't you, brother, be wronged and wronged for these people? Xie Xiaomi smiled at this time, the bright smile matched with that honor. I really can't bear to look directly at it. Several, are you kidnapping morally? Our family has nothing to do with the big guys. We can leave if we want, and stay if we want. Why should we listen to you? I'm talking, what do you mean by being wronged by these people? How do you know that the door of the house will open when you impose your ulterior motives on others? How do you know that you can threaten the magistrate if you have a large number of people? Or do you use these people as stepping stones? Fart, don't be so kind as a donkey's liver and lungs, what purpose can we have? Isn't it all for everyone's benefit? Oh, don't be so grandiose. If there are so many people who can really threaten people, the city gate has been opened long ago. As for being closed for so many days, When do you think there will be fewer people outside the city gate? That's fine, okay dogs don't block the way, don't force me to do it, then I won't have any good fruit for you. Hi, I'd like to see what you can do with me. Xie Xiaomi wasn't too polite, and directly leaned forward, slapped the men who had been beeping with him for a long time, then turned his fist and swung it to another person's face, lifted his hind foot, and kicked another man away. People. Everyone was shocked by her actions. No one thought that a girl would be so violent, and she would fight as soon as she said it. Father Xie was also very angry. He went up to mend it a few times, and the people who were standing there just now fell down and did not move. Let's go. With a wave of his hand, Xie Xiaomi led the crowd away from the gate of the city. The master and servant who were hiding beside the pillars on the city gate followed Xie Xiaomi all the time until they could no longer see anyone. The leading man said slowly, "Go, show her the way." "Yes, General." "Xiaomi, did you feel that someone was watching us just now?" Second Aunt Xie's back was numb just now, and she felt like someone was staring at her. She didn't ask until she couldn't see the city gate. "Well, those who come are not kind, and those who are kind don't come, it's okay, second aunt." Although Xie Xiaomi didn't know who was staring at him, but there was no malice in it, so she didn't take it seriously. After walking for a few miles, they found a clean and spacious place, and Xie Xiaomi asked everyone to sit down and rest. "Xiaomi, why are you resting here?" Second Uncle Xie asked a little puzzled. "Wait someone." "Waiting for someone." "Waiting for someone." As soon as the words fell, there was the sound of horseshoes in the distance. Uncle Xie understood, and sat there silently, looking at the sky and the ground. When the visitor saw Xie Xiaomi sitting there waiting for him, he got off his horse and knelt down on the ground with a plop. Seeing Father Xie's foreheads twitching, "How painful is this?" "Girl," my master asked his subordinates to bring a few words. "Well, let's talk. At 3 o'clock tonight, see you Simon." "Got it." Then he remembered something and asked, "What happened to those people just now?" "It's just a spy, it's not good, but it's better for girls not to approach the north gate, maybe it will be dangerous." "Okay, say thank you to your master for me." "Sure, the subordinate will leave now." After speaking, he got up, and then flew on the horse, whipped the horse, and after a burst of dust, the figure had disappeared without a trace. Well, my blood boils, I really want to learn equestrianism. Guzi clattered and turned everyone's eyes from that person to him again. "Just you. It's not that a mother looks down on you, it's because you are so stupid. I can still think of how stupid you were when you were learning how to ride a horse. Hey! Are you such a mother? Why do you still discourage your son's enthusiasm? Hey, your enthusiasm is only 3 minutes hot, no, 3 minutes is too much." Guzi shut himself up. Just as he was about to refute, he received his own father's death-like stare. Guzi decided to shut up. "Xiaomi, who was that person just now?" Father Xie asked curiously when he remembered the person who appeared suddenly just now after watching enough of the drama. "Oh, just a passerby, not a bad thing, but a good thing." "That's good, that's good." Father Xie saw that his daughter didn't want to talk too much, so he didn't ask any more questions. Anyway, her daughter always had her own rules when doing things, so he was very relieved as a father. "Come on, let's find a place to eat." "Oh, I can finally eat." Guzi, who was still autistic just now, heard the word eating, and instantly revived with full blood. He jumped 3 feet high. Qin Guden and Qin Chuanhua were also infected by Guzi's joy, clapping their little hands and following along. Oh yes. At this time, Xiao Boyan, who had returned to the government office of Chuan Mansion, guarded Feng Yi closely, and was returning to Xiao Boyan at this time. She agreed. "Yes, General. That's good. However, my subordinates feel that Miss Xie doesn't seem to be fleeing famine, but rather comes here for fun." "Oh. How do you say this?" "I see that Miss Xie is not as vulgar as a country person, and her style of behavior is also generous, like a lady from a big family, and the general doesn't think that Miss Xie is particularly conspicuous among the refugees. The subordinates can't tell how conspicuous she is. Why, but it is so that people can see it at a glance." Any more?" Also, when I saw Miss Xia's appearance just now, my subordinates couldn't explain it in words, but I always felt a little abrupt, so my subordinates thought that Miss Xia should have disguised herself for fear of trouble. Well, I observed carefully, that's all right, you go down. Yes, General, this subordinate will retire. After Feng Yi left, Xiao Boyan fell into deep thought. In fact, he had some doubts about what Feng Yi said just now, but Xia Xiaomi didn't escape from famine, so why did he follow the refugees? If she deliberately disguised herself, wouldn't it be a coincidence to save him? But he couldn't figure out what Xia Xiaomi's purpose was for saving him. In the end, he still didn't understand, so Xiao Boyan decided to let it go for now. The most important thing now is to deal with these refugees. At this time, Xia Xiaomi was traveling through the mountains, worrying about the ingredients for cooking. She can't take out the chicken that has been losing its feathers to eat, can she? If chickens were so good, these refugees wouldn't have to run away from home. I have eaten steamed buns and buns before, and I have taken out a lot of potatoes and sweet potatoes, so what will I eat this time? Scratching my ears and scratching my cheeks, I stood in the mountain thinking for a long time, but I couldn't think of it, so I had no choice but to go into the space to look for it. Maybe I could gain something. Tuan Tuan, who was sowing seeds boredly at the back of the yard, sensed the presence of Xia Xiaomi coming in, turned around and ran straight to Xia Xiaomi, calling out "Mother" in a childish voice. Tuan Tuan, are you obedient? Mother, Tuan Tuan is very obedient. He has been obediently growing vegetables, harvesting vegetables, growing medicinal materials, and harvesting medicinal materials. Moreover, Tuan Tuan did not steal food. Even the time for sleeping is shorter, which means that Tuan Tuan's body is getting worse and worse. It's getting stronger, isn't Mother happy? Tuan Tuan is awesome. Xia Xiaomi hugged Tuan Tuan with a smile on his face, put it in his arms and kept smoothing the little guy's hair, and Tuan Tuan made a comfortable snoring sound, nestled there obediently. The little one Xia Xiaomi's stiff heart softened a lot. Carrying Tuan Tuan to the warehouse, Xia Xiaomi picked and pulled, and suddenly a few corns rolled out from the corner. Xia Xiaomi's eyes lit up immediately. He picked up the corn and smelled it. That's it. It's been a long time I haven't eaten roasted corn, but I can try it. Tuan Tuan, Mother is going out, can you go and rest first? When Mother finds a place to stay in the outside world, can I take you out to play? Get out. Tuan Tuan blinked his blue eyes with a confused look on his face. Yes, outside. Can I see my mother every day if I go outside? Yes, if you go outside, you can see your mother. Do you want to go? Xiao Boyan in the past, what is the purpose of this woman saving him? Later Xiao Boyan, the girl is like a heavenly woman, to save the suffering. Xiao Boyan who knelt down to propose, Mimi, you still have a purpose for me, otherwise I would be very panicked. Xia Xiaomi, oh, dogman. Go, go, I want to see my mother every day. Okay, then you have to take care of your little body, and I will pick you up when Mother settles down. Okay, Mother, let's go rest. The little guy didn't wait for Xia Xiaomi to send it to the small bed, he just jumped down and disappeared in a flash. Xia Xiaomi stared fondly at the disappearing Tuan Tuan, and shook her head helplessly. It seems that the little guy is very interested in the pet bed she collected in her previous life. That's all. If you have time, look for the small toys you have collected, and take them out for her to play with, which will save her from being too boring. Another 20 or so corns were pulled out from inside. Xia Xiaomi turned around and came out of the space. As soon as he landed, a skinny gray rabbit jumped out of the grass. Xia Xiaomi quickly picked up a stone and threw it out, knocking the rabbit unconscious. Just as she was about to reach out to find the dagger behind her, she found nothing. Xia Xiaomi then remembered that her dagger was given to General Xiao. I took out a handful of similar ones from the space, and dealt with the rabbit in twos and twos. After cleaning up quickly, I took out a few potatoes from the space, ready to go back and cook them in soy sauce. This time, I don't need to worry about myself. This is a real mountain hunt. When they got back to the place, Xia Xiaomi handed the rabbits and potatoes to Xia's mother and Lin Yang, asked them to cook them, and then handed over the corn to Xia's father. Father, I haven't eaten your roasted corn for a long time, so I'll leave these to you. Father Xia raised his eyebrows lightly, then nodded. But in my heart, I kept slandering, this daughter of my family really loves to eat. But whoever let it belong to my family, I have no choice but to spoil her. Uncle Xia and Qin Dazhuang were also very surprised when they saw these corns. Uncle Xie knew what was going on, but Qin Dazhuang didn't. Even the corn grows big and juicy. As long as Xie Erguzi has something to eat, he doesn't care how it got there. At this moment, he is having fun with the two little guys, leaving Xie Xiaomi standing there alone with nothing to do. Since it was fine, Xie Xiaomi sat on the ground directly, crossed her legs and closed her eyes. In fact, her consciousness was immersed in the study of the space. She had read a medical book before that said that a person's internal strength can be improved through medicine, as long as the foundation is firmly established. It is stable and has no side effects. When she first saw it, she didn't pay much attention to it, and she never thought that she would practice some peerless martial arts to dominate the martial arts world. However, after several incidents, she also realized the importance of force value, and practiced flying flowers all over the sky. I am more active, but even if I am active, the profound internal strength is accumulated over time, and it is not possible to become a master immediately. Since there is a shortcut to go, why doesn't she go? After finding the medical book, I turned to the page that said Xingqi pill, and took a look at the medicinal materials needed. Basically, they are relatively common, but there are 3 kinds of medicine. It's purple cloud grass, snow ginseng, and tiger marrow. Snow ginseng and tiger marrow, the literal meaning is not difficult to understand, but this purple cloud grass is a bit incomprehensible. After writing down the medicinal materials, Xie Xiaomi put down the book and continued to search for other medical books. Since these medicines appeared, there must be introductions. After searching around, I finally saw the habits and introduction of these 3 medicines in a medical handbook. Snow ginseng and tiger marrow are easy to find, but this purple cloud grass grows on extremely sunny cliffs. It's easy to find on the ground, but it's a bit difficult to find on the cliffs. Taking a look at the purple cloud grass, Xie Xiaomi remembered it in his heart, and when he was going to go into the mountains to look for food in the future, he would collect it by the way. There are a few in the snow ginseng space, I don't know which owner put them in. Tiger marrow is also easy to get, after all, there are tigers and other beasts in the space. Let it stand there obediently, and give her some tiger marrow. It's not difficult, and the tiger's marrow in the space is more effective than the tiger's marrow outside. It's only a matter of time before making qi-enhancing pills, so Xie Xiaomi is not in a hurry. When I returned to the cage, I found that the sky was getting dark, and the dinner was coming to an end, and the smell of meat had already come out. Fortunately, this place is remote, otherwise it would have attracted other people's covetousness. Everyone is coming to eat, let's leave here quickly after eating. Father Xie was also worried that the smell would attract refugees, so he hurriedly called everyone to come over for dinner. Without any delay, everyone quickly finished the pot of meat and potatoes, and gnawed on the corn. Then they quickly cleaned up the things and moved their positions. It took half an hour. Everyone, let's rest first. Before the 3rd watch, we are leaving. Then he whispered a few times in Father Xie's ear. Father Xie nodded. Xie Xiaomi turned around and disappeared into the night. Everyone was smart enough not to ask her what she was doing. Xie Xiaomi found a place to enter the space. When she was studying medical books before, she found that there were many prescriptions recorded in the book. There were not only boiled liquids, but also pastes and pills. You don't need to think about the boiled medicine at this time. It's not convenient, but you can try Yuanzi. Familiarize yourself with the production methods, write down a few useful prescriptions, find the herbal medicines that have been grown and collected, and Xie Xiaomi went to the pharmacy to try to make them. Since the flow of time in the space is different from that outside, Xie Xiaomi was not in a hurry, and slowly practiced this technique and thoroughly understood it. After several failures, the first pot of pills was finally made. Xie Xiaomi put it under his nose and smelled it, and found that there was no unpleasant herbal smell, but there was a pleasant smell, which was exactly what the book said match. Satisfied, he found a small porcelain bottle and put the pills in it. The bottle was corked tightly, and he put it aside. Immediately afterwards, I practiced it several times and changed another prescription. The result of such repeated practice is that Xie Xiaomi is almost surrounded by porcelain vases. He waved and put all these medicine bottles in one place, took a shower, changed his clothes, walked out of the space, and returned to the place where everyone rested. Father Xie heard the noise, opened his eyes, and found that it was his own daughter, raised his eyebrows, said nothing, closed his eyes and hugged his daughter-in-law and continued to sleep. And Xie Erguzi, who was watching the night, greeted Xie Ershu and Xie Xiaomi, and asked Xie Xiaomi to go back to rest. In the dead of night, There is a little sound that is particularly eye-catching. The wind blows gently, blowing away the heat of the day, leaving a little coolness. Xie Xiaomi looks at the towering city wall in the distance with bright eyes, waiting quietly with the arrival of the third watch. Before 3 o'clock, the Xie family packed up their things, and walked quickly to the West City Gate. The figure gradually disappeared from the spot, blended into the night, and became one with it. When we arrived at the gate of the city, we saw 2 tall horses and 3 carriages standing there. As soon as Feng saw Xie Xiaomi and the others, he quickly got off his horse and went up to meet them. "Miss Xie, please get on the carriage." "Thank you." With a wave of his hand, the Xie family got into the carriage without being invited, and even the Qin family followed very well. That speed made Feng Yi have to sigh. The tacit understanding of this family is simply amazing. Set off. The carriage moved forward slowly, and walked in the other direction after entering the West Gate. The carriage was galloping all the way, and no one said a word. Although it was the first time for the Xie family and the Qin family to ride a carriage, they just looked at it silently and did not discuss it in front of others. After 2 incense sticks, the carriage stopped at another city gate. Xie Xiaomi heard the wind outside the carriage and said sharply, "Open the city gate." Yes. There was a sound of the city gate opening, and the carriage moved again. It wasn't until we got out of the city gate and drove for a while that we stopped. As soon as Feng stepped forward, he said respectfully, "Miss Xie, you can get out of the car." "It is good." Xie Xiaomi took the lead to get out of the carriage, and then thanked Feng Yi again and again. "Girl, my subordinates don't dare to take credit for it. It's all due to our general." Glancing at the man sitting on a tall horse, wearing black armor and a black cloak, Xie Xiaomi walked over slowly, and then asked, "I don't know, can I have a few words with the general alone?" Xiao Boyan frowned slightly. He didn't like a woman to think of him the most. Not to mention that there were still many doubts about this woman, but no matter what, she did save him. Thinking of this, Xiao Boyan got off his horse and walked slowly to the side. Xie Xiaomi smiled slightly and followed. "Miss, what do you want to tell General Ben?" "General Xiao, the jade pendant you gave me said that you can receive 10,000 taels of gold, but I don't know if I can give up this 10,000 taels of gold and ask for something else instead." Xiao Boyan frowned even tighter, and a little impatience appeared on his face. "Girl, although you are my savior, it doesn't mean you can tease the general." "Oh, I'm afraid the general has thought of it. Although I am a girl, I still understand some truths. Since this is the case, you should take the 10,000 taels of gold and return the jade pendant, and treat me as nothing from now on." "What?" "The general is afraid that I will entangle you, so he refuses to listen to my request." Xiao Boyan was about to be laughed at by Xie Xiaomi, but his upbringing prevented him from bullying women, so he could only suppress his irritability and said impatiently, "Say it. If you want to come to General Xiao, you also know that I am a refugee. If a refugee wants to live a stable life, he must have an official introduction and household registration. These things are not available in our family. I don't ask for 10,000 taels of gold. General Xiao, if you can help me solve these 2 things, then I will immediately return the jade pendant and treat you as a stranger from now on." I wonder what General Xiao thinks. Xie Xiaomi's words made the originally irritable General Xiao feel chilled instantly. "Are you sure you only want these?" Xie Xiaomi replied with a serious expression, "I can earn money by myself, and I can also fight for good days by myself, but official quotations and household registration cannot be obtained by money, and they are also what I lack the most. Since General Xiao wants to repay his favor, I will take this. Come and report." After speaking, he took out the jade pendant and handed it directly to Xiao Boyan. Xiao Boyan glanced at the jade pendant that was forced into his hand, and now he admired this girl a little. She knew what she wanted and knew how to choose. This kind of mind is not something ordinary people can have. Besides, 10,000 taels of gold, if you don't want it, don't want it. Xiao Boyan looked at her a little high, but it's really like what she said, or it's another matter if it's just to attract his attention. But Xiao Boyan didn't care. He turned his head and told Feng Yi. Feng nodded, flew on his horse, and ran towards the city. Seeing Feng leave, Xie Xiaomi knew that he was definitely going to get what she wanted, nodded slightly to Xiao Boyan, and walked back to her family, standing there quietly waiting, without any intention of talking to her. The meaning of Xiao Boyan's words. Xiao Boyan was not annoyed either. He really didn't like girls approaching him very much, such a distance made him very comfortable, and somehow his impression of Xie Xiaomi was much better. After a while, the sound of horseshoes came from far to near, and the wind whipped the whip and galloped to Xiao Boyan's back. He stopped the horse, took out a few pieces of paper with the official seal from his arms, handed it to Xiao Boyan, and then handed Xie Xiaomian called over and asked her to report the names of all the family members, taking the family as the unit, and guiding each family one by one. After filling out the directions, Xiao Boyan wrote a few lines on another blank piece of paper, roughly meaning to let the local magistrate or county magistrate settle down for Xie Xiaomi and others, and write his name on the signature. He stamped his general's seal again, and then handed it to Xie Xiaomi. Xie Xiaomi took it, glanced at it, and then smiled. Fushan said to Xiao Boyan, "Thank you, General, for fulfilling the task, now the two are settled." After speaking, he turned around and wanted to go back to his family, but the moment Xie Xiaomi turned around, Xiao Boyan suddenly had some subtle emotions, as if he didn't want her to leave just like that. "Miss Xie." He blurted out and subconsciously stopped Xie Xiaomi, and after he finished shouting, Xiao Boyan paused, with a slightly puzzled and perplexed expression on his face. "General Xiao, what's the matter?" Xiao Boyan couldn't tell what emotion he was in, but since he stopped him, it was hard to say nothing was wrong, so he had an idea, turned around and Guanfeng asked for a token, and handed it to Xie Xiaomi. "Miss Xie, you can keep this token." The girl said it is for two parties, but after all, it is a life-saving grace. "How can there be such a hasty gift?" "This token is easy to use as long as it is in Tongbao Bank. Although you can't withdraw money, but when the locker sees the token, he will be more courteous. If the girl encounters something that cannot be solved in the place where she lives, as long as the shopkeeper can handle it, she can use this token to ask for help." Hearing this, Xie Xiaomi raised her delicate eyebrows slightly. After thinking about it, she accepted it. She didn't want the benefits of being delivered to her door for nothing. Although the money was confiscated, she got a few things that she could use. "Good thing. General Xiao, I can't take your things in vain. There are 2 porcelain vases here. I see General Zhao's steps are strong but light. He must be a martial artist. In addition, there will be chaos in Fenglan abroad. There must be a day they will go to the battlefield. The porcelain bottles are filled with detoxification pills and healing pills respectively. The detoxification pills can detoxify all kinds of poisons, and the healing pills can heal internal injuries. The effect is remarkable. This is left by my master. Now I give it to General Xiao, and I will return it to General Xiao. It's the gift of tokens." After finishing speaking, he nodded slightly, took the token and returned to Xie's family, and led the big guy along the path farther and farther until he completely disappeared into the night. Xiao Boyan's figure was still standing there, motionless for a long time. Feng Yi looked at his general with some puzzlement. His expression seemed sad, grateful, and pleased, but he couldn't tell what it meant. Probably only the general himself knew. "General, we should go too." Taking a look at the sky, Feng Yi stepped forward to remind. "Well, everything in the city is arranged. Return to the general, let Yun Yi take care of this subordinate, there will be no mistakes. Lei Yi has gone to transport food for disaster relief, and it will probably take a few days before he comes back." "Well, let's go." "Yes." After Feng Yi waited for Xiao Boyan to get on the horse first, he also flew on the horse, waved his big hand, and a lot of soldiers rushed out from around, followed the two of them and walked in another direction. At this time, the Xie family, who were leaving far away, were looking at the road guide in their hands with a look of curiosity. After all, they are modern people, and they have never seen it before. "This is Luin. With this thing, can we go to town?" That's the way to say it, but do you dare to leave? Just like today, people block the door, and everything else is easy to say. If we really do it, we don't understand the laws of this dynasty. If we, what do you do if you catch him? Second Uncle Xie took a look at his son's stupid look, and explained patiently. Hearing his own father's explanation, Erguzi nodded in an instant understanding, and also said, "Oh, by the way. With this thing, I feel that my sense of belonging is stronger." Father Xie flipped through the day, and finally came to such a conclusion, which won the approval of many people. Qin Dazhuang didn't understand what Father Xie meant, and thought that the sense of belonging he said meant peace of mind because of proof. Xie Xiaomi thought about the 2 little guys, so he didn't take everyone far away, but walked for about half an hour, and then found a broken grass shed for everyone to rest. Everyone didn't refuse. Anyway, there was no destination, and everyone was not in a hurry. It didn't matter where they rested. Anand fell asleep soundly, ate a piece of corn by himself early in the morning, packed his luggage and continued on his way. I have walked a lot in the past few days, and the shoes on my feet are a little worn out. I don't know if I can stick to the next city. Time slowly slipped past the beginning of September, and came to mid-September. Since the last time in Chuan Mansion, the big guys haven't encountered a city for nearly half a month, and the weather is getting colder and colder. 2 days ago, too, the little guy was also frozen because he slept at night, and when he woke up in the morning, he started to runny nose. Fortunately, Xie Xiaomi found it early, and each person put a pill in it, and it will be fine when he sweats at noon. After passing Chuan Mansion and heading south, the drought situation is slightly better than before. At least the bark on the mountain still exists, which means that the people here are not short of food enough to eat the bark. Xiaomi, here, we haven't showered for almost 20 days, me here. Mother Xie glanced at her daughter with some embarrassment. She knew that she shouldn't be particular about this time, but the itching is really unbearable, even in the last days. In that environment, she didn't say not to take a bath for 20 days. And every night Maiman hugs her to sleep, and she sleeps soundly. He is embarrassed to hug her, but she is too embarrassed to lie down. I can't bear the smell on my body, and I don't know how my husband suffers from it. Xie Xiaomi understood what her mother meant, glanced at the sky, looked forward, and found a wooden sign that said Ruin Town, then turned her head and said to Xie's mother, "Mother, the town in front is called Ruin Town." Wenjin, I don't know if there is an inn. As long as there is an inn, I'll let everyone take a bath, okay? Success, mother listens to you, then let's go. Second Aunt Xie also wanted to talk about this, but she was too embarrassed to say it. Who knew that her sister-in-law couldn't hold back and said it first? She heard the voice and hurried to listen to the conversation between the two. The answer, the smile on his face deepened, and he urged everyone to leave quickly. Although everyone didn't know what Second Aunt Xie was up to, but since they told her to hurry up, then hurry up. Qin Dazhuang was still afraid that the two children would not leave quickly, so he picked up the two little guys, hugged him, followed in the footsteps of Xie's family, and walked towards the gate of Ruin Town. After walking for about half an hour, I got closer and closer to the city gate. The three big characters Ruin Town hung high above the city gate, giving off a solemn atmosphere. There was no line at the door, no one going in or out, only 4 gatekeepers, listlessly standing guard. The 10 people originally wanted to go in directly, but who knew that the Yamen servant who was still drowsy just now, like a dog smelling the smell of bones, immediately regained his spirits. Hey, stop, who let you in? At this time, Xie Xiaomi naturally couldn't come forward to negotiate, and could only push Xie's father out. Big brother, we came from afar. We don't know the rules of Ruin Town. Please forgive me. I don't know what procedures are required to enter the city gate, or do you have anything to say? Well, you guys are good friends, okay, it's your luck to meet some brothers today, and we won't make it difficult for you, we will let you go to the city if you pay a toll for each of you. When Xie Xiaomi and the others heard it, it didn't cost much, and it cost a penny. Who knows if other things in this city are expensive? Mother Xie quietly approached Xie Xiaomi and asked, Xiaomi, do we still have enough money? Enough, don't worry. Although the 70 taels she earned from the town were all given to the head of the cottage, but she plundered more than 30 taels of silver along the way. Before entering Fenghe Mansion, each person was 500 taels, which is 5-2, she still has 30 taels, which is enough to enter this door. As for the things after entering the door, it is natural to talk about it after entering the door. Wrap 2 taels of silver in a silk handkerchief with your mind, and then pretend to be a little cautious, stepped forward, and said to a few Yamen servants, brothers, look at our group, the old ones, the young ones, this one city by city, the tolls are indeed taken a lot, and we don't have that much money anymore, can we give some less? Oh, pay less. I think you are daydreaming, but I can tell you that with lousy is the rule. If you want to pass the city gate, you have to pay a penny, otherwise don't even think about it. Father Xie also looked distressed, pretending to be reluctant, but he couldn't help but ask his daughter, how much money do we have? Father, we don't have much in total. After this journey, we only have 2 taels of silver left. Xie Xiaomi took out the silk handkerchief from his sleeve, unfolded it, and handed it to Father Xie. After Father Xie took it, he deliberately showed it to several guards, and then handed over a tael of silver to the person in front of him with great heartache. Even Qin Dazhuang, who walked over with him, believed his expression and acting skills. "Brother Xie, otherwise we wouldn't go in. This is too much." "It's okay, brother. We adults can bear it, but children can't bear it. We have to find a place to rest and have a good rest." "Inzi. Inzi, we are thinking of a way, let's go in first and talk about it." After finishing speaking, he turned his head and glanced at the guard, and said with a smile on his face, "Brother Cha, can we go in?" Okay, let's go in. You have a poor face, it looks like there is nothing to fish for, you are lucky, you met our brothers, if you meet another wave of servants, you still want to enter for a couple of dollars 10 people. You are probably daydreaming. Yes, thank you, brother officer, thank you. Father Xie cupped his hands, performed a scholar's salute, and then brought the big guy into Ruin Town. Although the drought situation here is slightly better, it is still very depressed. Many shops are closed, and there are only a few here and there, still gritting their teeth, and it didn't take much time. Xiaomi, this seems to be the only inn here. A few people stood at the door of a dilapidated inn with dangling plaques, the corners of their eyes twitching slightly. Well, go in, why are you hesitating? Xie Xiaomi walked in first, looked around and found no one inside. In desperation, I had to shout, "Is anyone there? Can't it be opened? Open, there is someone. Suddenly, a sleepy head protruded from the counter, with long hair raised up crookedly with a cloth head, and chapped lips. The most conspicuous thing was the face on the surface of the moon. "Are you the shopkeeper here?" "Yes, I am the shopkeeper." "Do you have a room?" "Yes, it's all houses." "It depends on where you want to live." The man casually gestured towards the second floor, quite a sense of boldness that this place is all about me. "How much silver per room?" 5 1 per seat in Datong shop, 1 for the lower class room, 1 for the middle class room, and 1 for the upper class room. The price. Well, this upper class room is more expensive than entering the city gate, but it is lower than expected, not bad. Xie Xiaomi doesn't understand prices, but it doesn't mean Qin Dazhuang doesn't understand. After all, he has traveled to many places and has a basic understanding of prices in various places. Even if he has never been to Ruin Town, it is no worse than other places. So much. "Boss, isn't the price too high? Normally, the price of a low-class room is only about yuan. Why is it still yuan?" "Brother, what is the situation now? What was the situation before? If you calculate according to the past, my inferior room is 20 yuan a day, but today is different from the past. You can't compare it with the past. There used to be water to drink, have something to eat, do you have it now?" After speaking, he yawned very rudely. Xie Xiaomi did the math, 1 room for Xie father and mother, 1 room for Uncle Xie and second aunt Xie, 1 room for Qin Dazhuang and second dog Xie, 1 room for Lin Yang and her 2 children, 1 room for herself, exactly 5 rooms. The room is clearly arranged. Then he turned to look at the shopkeeper and asked, "Are the rooms clean?" "Girl, aren't you talking nonsense? It's been a long time since I've lived with anyone. Can it be unclean? Okay, give me 5 rooms. Pa, a tael of silver was slapped on the counter, and the shopkeeper's eyes widened immediately after seeing it. "These 5 rooms, 5 rooms. What's the matter?" "No." Yes, come with me." The shopkeeper cheerfully led the group to the 3rd floor, opened the doors of the 5 upper-class rooms, and a smell of dust came blowing in. Xie Xiaomi slapped it with his hands, glanced at the shopkeeper standing next to him, and said with a half-smile, "This is what you mean by cleanliness. Shopkeeper, I found that you seem to have some ambiguity about the word cleanliness." Oh, careless, I haven't come up for a long time, but I forgot about the dust." "Okay, I won't make it difficult for you, I will refund us 200 cash, and we will clean up by ourselves. It's impossible to refund the money, but there is a well in our yard, and a little water can still be drawn from it. I think you need to wash up. You can still do it by simply wiping your body." "Success, I don't want you to withdraw the 201. You prepare a bathtub for me and put it in the room. You don't need to worry about other things." "Bathtub? No, how much water will be used? It's not worth it. Don't worry, we'll just use a tub of water, isn't it worth 200 won? Really just use a barrel? Let's fetch water, just watch. The shopkeeper thought about it, and finally agreed to the request for Inzi's sake. I believe that the girl is not the one who makes trouble for no reason. Besides, if there are too many, my well will not be able to dig out. It doesn't matter if you look at it. You can do whatever you want. The shopkeeper didn't stay any longer, turned around and ran away with the money. After a while, a bathtub and a basin of clean water came in, and then I went downstairs and left the inn. I don't know if I took the 1 tael of silver to improve the food. Several people used a basin of water to clean the tables, chairs, benches, and beds in the 5 guest rooms, and then Xie Xiaomi carried the tub into Lin Yang's room. Xiaomi. Why did you carry her to our room? Auntie, you wash the 2 children first, and I will change the water for you after washing. But didn't the shopkeeper say he only gave you 1 bucket of water? Don't worry, Auntie, I have a solution, you can wash with peace of mind. Xiaomi, this won't cost money again, right? Let's just bear with it, and don't wash it. Auntie, don't worry, it doesn't cost money, I have my way, you wash the child first, then I will wrong you and my uncle with a bucket of water. Okay, Auntie, that's the decision. Washing up is good for your body. If you don't have a good body, how can you cope with the road ahead? Okay, Auntie knows. Lin Yang was also afraid that getting sick would delay everyone's journey, so she obeyed Xie Xiaomi's wishes, bathed the 2 children first, changed into new clothes, washed them with bath water, and hung them on the window. Ask Qin Dazhuang to throw away the water, and then call Xie Xiaomi. Xie Xiaomi took Father Xie and Uncle Xie with 2 buckets of water in each hand, and quickly filled the bathtub. Uncle Qin, Aunt Qin, you guys wash it, the water is right here, don't move it yet, I'll take care of it. Okay, we got it. Xie Xiaomi left the room of the 2 of them, then turned and went back to his own room. At this time, everyone in the Xie family was standing in the room, looking at Xie Xiaomi expectantly.